Crescent Lake in Gig Harbor. It is windy as heck, and it's starting to rain. I was having some issues with the camera, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna get out. So I'm down 1.5 colors on the left side of the kayak with a Trout Tricks worm and bubble gum, and I was trolling about 1.6 to 1.7 with the wind. And then on the right side of the kayak, I'm down 2.5 colors, and I'm bringing a pink God's Tooth spoon, and not a bad looking little trout. He popped off right there. And off he goes. And that disc is still about 3/4 of an inch or an inch or so off the edge of that worm. And so that's going to be good for us today. Water temp is 62 degrees. I can tell you, wading in to launch the kayak, it felt colder than that. Nope, and off he goes. So last week when Mike and I were out at Summit Lake, we talked about leadcore. And leadcore is really effective, especially in the early spring when the fish are in the top 10 or so feet of the water column. You'll see both rods I have on the boat are Catch America leadcore line setups. We got those from Cal Kellogg. You can go to their website and order the rods. They're phenomenal. As you can see, I am now fishing not only in the kayak but also in the boat. And so one of the things I do, because I fish it in the kayak and the boat, is I keep my top shots all 40 to 50 feet of fluorocarbon. Now if you're just going to fish them on the kayak, you can have a much shorter top shot. I'd say anywhere from 20 to 25 feet is probably a good top shot for kayak fishing, because you don't have to worry about the motor noise. The one thing Mike and I do different than Cal runs a 3-color setup on his reels, and Mike and I run 5. Now there might be some intelligence on Cal's part, because when you have 5 colors out, right, that's 150 feet of line, plus you're talking about another 40 or 50 feet of top shot, so you're a long ways behind the boat. And so having only 3 colors makes it more manageable. But what I find is I really like the leadcore, and so I fish it later into the season, and you'll see me fishing 5 colors in the water or more. I'll go into my back. And so with the leadcore, all you do is put on braid backing, put your, we use Suffix 15-pound leadcore, and we put on 5 colors, and then like I said, I put on a 40 to 50 foot top shot, because I use it both in the kayak and the boat. Hope that helps. You've already seen I've been out here less than 5 minutes, caught 2 fish. The leadcore is great. You saw we used the leadcore at Summit, and Mike and I boated 40 fish in 4.5 hours on leadcore. So obviously this is not a year-round lake, so I got a double going. I got this one here on the Trout Tricks worm, and I got one on the oh, so that one just got off, so I'm gonna put that here, and I'm gonna go to this one. This one is on the God's Tooth spoon. It's always nice to have a double. Problem with having a double in a kayak with the wind and on the weak side of the kayak is it's a little cumbersome. So I am going to do the opposite. I think I'm going to turn into it, try to keep the pressure on the fish, and this will make it easier to manage the fish. Oh, and he just let off right there. Here's that pink God's Tooth spoon that I'm using. Again, I'm 2.5 colors on that. So I was just letting that out, and I actually picked up a fish just letting it out, and I wasn't even into the leadcore. So I was maybe 30 feet behind the boat with that God's Tooth spoon. And so I was 2.5 colors. As I said before, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this on the top shot, and run this on the top shot, and see if that'll do any better. Any luck? This is 7. That Trout Tricks worm. 6 on the Trout Tricks. I got 1 on the spoon. So again, I've had probably 7, 8 takedowns on this Trout Tricks worm. That is 6 fish I've actually hooked up on the Trout Tricks worm. I've had 4 or 5 hits on the pink God's Tooth spoon. We loaded one of those. Wind is pretty stiff, as you can see. If I would chop on the water and the water temp, I knew they were going to be pretty close to the surface. And again, the leadcore, I'm running 95 feet behind the boat, which is about a color in the water. And then I'm just running my top shot and about 10 feet of leadcore in the line with that God's Tooth spoon. So I think I still got that one, but I'm trying to get this in the water. Double going. Well, shouldn't say double, I just took that one off and set it back in. Okay, again, there's that Trout Tricks worm I'm pulling from Catch America. It's in bubble gum, and I'm running that action disc about 1 inch above the head of the worm, and that imparts the action that these trout really like out here on Crescent. So we're heading downwind, and I'm not even pedaling, as you can see, and we're 2.2 to 2.3 miles an hour. So that's a damn near a double, and I'm doing about 1/8. And off he goes. All right, we're gonna go down to 1 rod because there is just too much shit going on. That was hooked around my other line. This pink God's Tooth spoon was doing okay, but that Trout Tricks worm is way hotter. So we're gonna go down to 1 rod. Again, I get my Trout Tricks worms from Catch America. They have their Trout Tricks worm kits. I hooked mine a little bit different than they do, but they are really a top trout producing presentation. There certainly are a few lakes that they're not that effective on, but they're few and far between. And so if you don't have yourself a Trout Tricks worm kit, I would get you one because they are very effective, especially on stock trout. You can put up huge numbers with these soft plastic baits. Okay, we're gonna call that a wrap. I believe that is number 23 in an hour, or just a little less than an hour. I'm gonna check the tape on that and I will give you the final numbers. But I guess just goes to show how effective lead core line can be. I was running on both sides of the kayak. The action was so hot that I ended up just going down to one rod. And especially when you're fishing the top couple feet of water, I was 96 feet behind the boat on the left side of the kayak and 60 feet back on the right side of the kayak. And remember, my top shot on the left side is 50 feet. My top shot on the right side is 40 feet. Is also 50 feet. Lead core on the right side in the water, and was still hammering fish. And my guess is if I'd put a Trout Tricks worm on both sides of the kayak, I probably would have doubled the numbers, except for I wouldn't have had time to pull them in. So this is Crescent Lake. This is the first time out on Crescent Lake this year, and it does not disappoint. Great body of water for action. Obviously you saw the fish, they're not huge, they're plant trout, but on one of these days there's got to be a monster fish in here and we're going to pull that out. But a fun lake, it's close to home, it's got a 5-mile-an-hour speed limit on it, and so really favorable for kayak fishing. Hope you enjoy this video, and leave any comments or things you'd like to see, and Mike and I'll see if we can get those for you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.